Dear colleagues, we continue our working day and we invite head of the presidential administration spokesperson on ATO-related issues, Colonel Andriy Lysenko. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I offer to your attention the dynamics of hostilities in the east of Ukraine. The situation in the east of Ukraine remains uncalm. In general, the enemy continues being active and firing on positions of ATO's forces, including using heavy weapons. The epicenter of military actions are suburbs in Gorlivka and Donetsk. Despite of more than 50 shellings, there were Ukrainian troops incurred no casualties. There were no wounded in action. Near Stanitsa Luganska, in Lugansk sector, the enemy used 120mm mortar. In Donetsk sector, in the suburbs of Gorlivka, the enemy many times fired on Ukrainian positions of 82mm and 120mm mortars, and also infantry fighting vehicles. The ATO Ukrainian forces many times returned fire. Besides that, for the first time after the long break, the hostile mortars shelled on Ukrainian positions located at the second line of defense to the north of Gorlivka. The epicenter of military actions yesterday were the forward positions of ATO Ukrainian forces to the east of Novgorodsk. The enemy fired almost 24 hours there. The enemy used mortars and armored machinery. The situation was a little bit calmer in the area of Donetsk airport. The intensity of hostile fire was a little bit lower and no heavy weapons were used. The situation was relatively calm only in Svetlodarsk salient near Troitsk and Lugansk. There were several militant provocations with the use of small arms. In Mariupol sector, the enemy many times used mortars to fire on Ukrainian positions near Krasnogorivka. In Mariivka, there were several series of precision fire on the part of militants who fired from machine guns and on the barrel grenade notches. In Starognativka there was also mortar shell and two citizens of Konstantinivka tripped a mine. They were provided medical assistance. In 2015, as a result of tripping mines and other unexploded ordnance, 25 civilians died in Donetsk regions, including 4 children, according to the information of the main Department of Intelligence of Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Russian supervisors of the illegal military formations did not abandon their plans to escalate the conflict. That is why near Terez the preparations took part to large-scale training of militants, where 40 tanks, 70 main battle tanks and 6 Grad systems are concentrated to take part in those trainings. The security service of Ukraine jointly with police officers detained a militant in Kramatorsk. The offender entered the ranks of illegal military formations in June 2014 and took part in the hostilities in Donetsk sector. And now we offer to your attention the confession of this militant.
Starting from July of 2014, I joined the DPR militants, and my friend introduced me there, and I was provided with the gun, and I was brought to Krasnogorivka. I remember that 10 men from our department went to a border with Russia to get some ammunition. Firstly, everything was simple, but then our unit was circled and they fired at us, and I understand that I want to flee. Together with my family, I went to Kramatorsk and addressed the point for refugee, but I was DPR militant and I was detained by law enforcement bodies. And I confess that I was the member of this unit. And Ukrainian servicemen continue to help residents of frontline settlements and towns. The officers brought some food and building materials. They also brought some newspapers to local residents, and in this way, the residents can get information from Ukrainian sources. This is all information for now. If you have some comments or questions, do you have comments or questions, dear colleagues? If there's no comments and questions,